Welcome, everyone. Today we're exploring some truly enriching materials from the RuiEnglish lesson on personal growth and success. Our focus is all on authentic leadership.
Right. And this isn't about, job titles or climbing a corporate ladder.
No, not at all. It's about uncovering that exceptional leader you were always meant to be. It's really about the impact you have on others.
And we want to make this actionable for you right from the start. So we're going to kick this off with a moment for some self-reflection.
Oh, I like that.
So here it is. Own quiz time. Think of this as you're about to take the Authentic Leadership Effectiveness Quiz. The activity is really designed to help you reflect on how you apply these principles in your own life.
It was a practical tool, not just theory.
Exactly. The quiz itself highlights 10 key dimensions, things like self-awareness, relational transparency, all the way to adaptability and continuous learning.
And these are the things that define how leaders build trust, right?
How they inspire a vision and empower the people around them. So by engaging with these ideas, you'll be encouraged to assess your own leadership style, maybe identify some personal strengths you didn't realize you were leveraging.
And I'm guessing also recognize some areas for growth.
That's the goal. It makes the whole session both reflective and actionable. It's really a guide toward unleashing your authentic leadership potential.
That's a perfect way to frame this. We're essentially exploring the foundation you need to, do really well on that self-assessment. Because at its core, authentic leadership is the absolute cornerstone of being effective.
It is. It's all about aligning your actions with your values.
And leading with transparency, building those genuine, strong connections.
And for some real motivation, the RuiEnglish lesson points to these incredible examples. I mean, think about Nelson Mandela.
Right.
His commitment to justice was just unwavering. He chose reconciliation over revenge, and that single choice defined a whole nation's future.
Or another great example is Martin Luther King Jr. His moral vision was so clear, it elevated an entire movement and inspired millions. These are like the historical touchstones of this idea.
But you also see it in the business world. The lesson brings up Indra Nooyi, the former CEO of PepsiCo.
She's a fantastic example.
She consistently led with empathy and integrity. She wasn't just thinking about products, she pushed this idea of performance with purpose.
Which proved that you could be successful financially and invest in things like sustainability and employee well-being. She was just herself. Her decisions were anchored in these deep moral values.
And these examples, they bring up a really vital question that the lesson asks us to think about. How do we even define success in this kind of leadership? It's clearly not just about the bottom line.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, the lesson is pretty clear on this. Success is defined mainly by the growth and development of the people you lead.
So it's about creating an environment.
An enriching environment, where people feel empowered to reach their full potential. I mean, when your team is thriving, that's when you know you've succeeded.
And of course, success also means creating that lasting impact, solving complex problems. But achieving that kind of legacy today, it feels like leaders face so many hurdles.
They're significant. You've got the incredible pace of technology. That's a huge one.
Sure.
But the most fundamental challenge, the one that really touches on every part of that quiz, is the need to build and maintain trust, especially now in an era of so much uncertainty.
People are just looking for leaders who are reliable and consistent, aren't they?
They really are.
Okay, so if trust is the currency, let's talk about the architecture. The lesson introduces what it calls the 4 pillars that build this authentic style.
And these are practices, not just ideas. The first one, and it's the most foundational, is self-awareness. This is just the ongoing work of understanding your own strengths, your weaknesses, your values, what motivates you. It's hard work because, you have to confront your own blind spots.
And it's a constant habit, isn't it? It's not something you just figure out once.
That's right. If you don't know your own values, how can you lead anyone else? That self-knowledge has to be solid before you can even think about the second pillar, which is relational transparency.
Right. Being open with others.
And this takes real courage. It means being open and honest, sharing your thoughts, but strategically. You do it to build that bedrock of trust.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure. Say a project fails. Instead of, pointing fingers, a transparent leader might say something like, I see that my decision on X led us here, and this is what I've learned from it.
Wow, yeah, that level of honesty is so empowering for everyone else.
It is. And that leads right into the third pillar, which is so important for making good decisions. Balanced processing.
We all have our biases, right?
We do. And this pillar demands that you actively seek out different perspectives. even and especially the ones that oppose your own view before you make a call.
That must be the hardest one to practice when you're under pressure.
It often is. It means you resist that urge to just jump to the easy conclusion. You have to stay humble, stay responsive, and adjust your course based on new information.
And that brings us to the fourth pillar, the internal compass, internalized moral perspective.
This is your core. It's having a strong sense of ethics that guides you, and that word, internalized, is key. It means when the stakes are high, you base your decision on what's right, not just what's easy or popular.
That's how you build trust that lasts for years, not just for a quarter.
Exactly.
Okay, so that framework is incredibly clear. Now let's get into the how. The lesson also provides 5 steps to become an effective, engaging, and authentic leader.
And you can think of these steps as the daily practices that bring those pillars to life. The first step, no surprise, is to discover your authentic self, which just means doing that self-awareness work we talked about.
Right. And step 2 flows right from that. Build strong relationships. This is where relational transparency comes into play. You have to create a space where your team feels they can actually share their ideas.
And listen. Really listen, without judgment.
What's step 3?
Step 3 is lead with integrity. This is where you put that internalized moral perspective into action. It means your actions have to line up with your values. If you say you value work-life balance, you can't be sending emails at midnight.
That's such a simple but powerful example. Okay, step 4 is one of my favorite concepts in the lesson. Embrace vulnerability.
Yes. Authenticity is about being real, not perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the lesson stresses that when you share a mistake you made or a challenge you're facing, that simple act creates psychological safety for your whole team.
It gives them permission to take smart risks, to learn from failure without being afraid.
And the 5th step kind of closes the loop, doesn't it?
It does. Cultivate continuous learning. Leadership is a journey. You have to stay curious, you have to seek out feedback, and we'll get more into that, and embrace challenges as chances to grow.
Let's circle back to that first pillar for a second, self-awareness, because the lesson offers some really practical techniques for building it.
It does, and they're simple, consistent practices. For some people, it might be mindfulness, just getting more in tune with your own emotions. For others, it's reflection.
Like journaling.
Exactly. Keeping a leadership diary, writing about decisions you made. Over time, that process helps you see patterns in your own behavior. It really deepens your self-knowledge.
And for anyone who wants a more formal approach to self-insight, the RuiEnglish lesson also talks about assessment tools. 2 of them really stand out. First is the Myers-Briggs type indicator, the MBTI.
A lot of people have heard of that one.
Right. It puts you into one of 16 types based on preferences like, extroversion versus introversion or thinking versus feeling.
And the real value there isn't the label itself. It's about understanding how your natural preferences shape your leadership style.
How so?
Well, say you score high on the thinking dimension, you might be great at that balanced processing pillar, looking at the data, but you might have to work intentionally on relational transparency to make sure you communicate with empathy.
That's a great insight. It gives you a specific roadmap for growth. The other tool is Clifton's Strengths.
Yeah, and that one uses positive psychology. It identifies your top 5 strengths out of 34 different talents.
So where the MBTI gives you a broad framework, Clifton's Strengths is more targeted.
It really zeroes in on your specific actionable talents. For example, if maximizer is one of your top strengths, you're naturally good at taking something from good to great. An authentic leader uses that to develop their team's talent.
Which connects right back to what we were just talking about.
It does. It all works together.
This focus on growth brings us to continuous learning, which is the 10th dimension of that quiz we started with. And a huge part of that is feedback and mentorship.
Absolutely. As a leader, you have to give constructive feedback. That's a given.
But the truly authentic leader has to be just as open, maybe even eager to receive it too.
Yes. That two-way street is what builds trust. You have to create a space where your team feels safe enough to point out your blind spots. If you get defensive, you've just shut down transparency for everyone.
That's so true. And the lesson also calls mentorship a cornerstone of development.
It is. When you share your knowledge with a mentee, you're not just helping them grow, you're deepening your own understanding of your leadership journey. It's this incredible, rewarding loop of growth.
Okay, to make all of these traits even more memorable and motivating, the RuiEnglish lesson gives us this really unique and uplifting metaphor. The eagle.
It's a powerful one. The eagle embodies 7 essential traits that map directly onto what we've been discussing.
So what's the first one?
First is vision. An eagle can see for miles, right? An authentic leader has that same clear, long-term vision. They see the destination and can guide everyone toward it.
Second is focus. Like an eagle locking onto its prey, a leader needs that same kind of determination to stay committed, even when things get complicated.
Then there's resilience. Eagles soar through storms. They don't hide. An authentic leader shows that same tenacity during tough times. They rise to the challenge.
Number 4 is courage. Eagles are fearless. And leaders show courage by making those tough calls and standing up for their values, even if it's not the popular thing to do.
Fifth is adaptability. An eagle adjusts its flight to the changing winds. A leader needs to be just as flexible, adjusting strategies as things change. That's balanced processing in action.
I love the 6th one, nurturing.
It's a beautiful one, isn't it? Eagles nurture their young until they can fly on their own. Authentic leaders invest deeply in their team members' growth and empowerment.
They want them to eventually reach their full independent potential.
Exactly. And finally, number 7 is high standards. Eagles build their nests way up high, symbolizing a commitment to excellence. Authentic leaders set those same high standards for themselves and for their teams.
It's such a powerful way to synthesize everything. And if you think back to our first example, Nelson Mandela, you can see all 7 of those traits in him.
You really can. His steadfast vision for a united South Africa, that was his focus. And his decision to choose reconciliation over revenge, that took immense courage and a deep moral perspective.
Absolutely. And his ability to connect with everyone, building that unity through transparency and empathy, that's the nurturing trait. He was investing in the future of an entire nation.
It all comes together. The eagle metaphor gives you this motivating and memorable way to recall the actions that authentic leadership requires.
So this whole journey really confirms that authentic leadership isn't some destination you arrive at.
No, it's a continuous pursuit of growth. It's built on self-knowledge, on transparency, and on ethical conduct. Every step you take brings you closer to becoming that empowering leader you're meant to be.
And that brings us full circle, right back to the beginning, that reflection task. We encourage you to go back to those 10 dimensions from the Authentic Leadership Effectiveness Quiz.
Use the 4 pillars and the 5 steps we talked about today to really assess your own style.
And remember, whether you're leading a team of 1 or 1,000, the lesson makes it so clear. Your leadership potential is truly limitless.
So as we wrap up this exploration of your sources, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought from the RuiEnglish lesson, something to inspire your next action. Are you ready to unleash your full potential and make a lasting impact?
And what will your first step be? That's the essential question to carry forward. Thank you for joining us for this inspiring exploration. Until the next one.